Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This video is made with the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan in mind. As you know, on the 6th of August 1945, the United States military, Air Force, dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, and then on the 9th of August 1945, it dropped another one on Nagasaki. I do not know if you read articles regarding this incidents, and I don't remember them being referred to as war crimes. And I don't know if you read the definition of a war crime or not, but you know that these atomic bombs were dropped on cities, on civilians, not on military installation located in Hiroshima or Nagasaki. They were dropped on the city with the goal of destroying the Japanese people's spirit and to go to the negotiating table and surrender unconditionally. That was the whole thing, unconditionally. The Japanese said they will surrender, but not unconditionally. And one of the reason, or the main obstacle in surrendering unconditionally, was the Americans demand that the emperor at that time, Hirohito, would say that he is not really divine, of divine descent, which their beliefs stated, the Japanese. Well, Hirohito came and they had to do that. I remember that Hirohito came and had a radio speech, and among others he said, we have to bear the unbearable, end quote. And that was very, very powerful. Nevertheless, the article that I have here is featuring a survival of that atomic bomb in Hiroshima. She was 8 years old, and she has a message for Putin. All right, well, you can have a message for Putin. The issue is, I don't remember a US president or the United States saying anything about, hey, we dropped this atomic bomb, it's a problem. I didn't hear this lady, who was 8 at the time, calling the Americans, at that time, criminals, or let's say calling Harry Truman, then President of the United States of America, a war criminal by dropping 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities, which, however you turn it and twist it, that is a war crime, isn't it? Remember, if we are to be honest and we are to be just, objective, then whatever I can do, you should be also allowed to do. And if I never apologize to you, it's because I don't think I made a mistake. I do not apologize for things that I consider I am at no fault. And even if you are at fault, it doesn't mean that you have to apologize, but that shows a certain trait of character. So in this case, the United States did not formally apologize, or anybody in the mainstream media or in the elevated society call, the acts as being criminal or being war crimes, or the guys who, conducted these acts being as criminals. No. But they call on Putin to take it easy and do not, think about it. You don't know what's going on. Let me show you this article. And I feel sorry for this 8-year-old then child coming up now and using a political situation just to ignore the big elephant in the room and pick up, a little other thing that's in the room as well. So let's see what's going on here with this little article. This comes from ABC News. Remember, these are mainstream media. You will not find a war crime mentioned here. You will not find anything war criminal. You will not find that. You will find bombardments, other euphemisms. So Hiroshima survivors' message to Putin. And I'm quoting, you don't know the reality of a nuclear weapon. Well, let me tell you this. Do you know what a house is? You know what a house does? All right? Yes. Well, let's say you never own a house. Right? Let's say you live in an apartment. Does it mean that you don't know what is a house? That is like telling a doctor, let's say a doctor who treats cancer. You don't know what cancer is because you never had cancer. Or tell other people, well, you don't know what the moon is because you've never been to the moon. Now this is the Japanese woman, the survivor's take on things. So she tells Putin that he doesn't know what it is. Well, if you lived an experience, definitely you got certain experiences that nobody else has. But overall, I think we pretty much know what the results are. And some of us know better because some of us maybe read more, or some of them. So you don't know how much Putin knows, but you accuse him he doesn't know. Yeah, that's a very, how do you call it, arrogant. And besides, do you have the opportunity, lady? You have over there Joe Biden, the president of the country, who bombed you, who actually caused you harm. I'm listening. Did you ask for anything? Did you ask for an apology? Did you call him this? Did you call the entity that? No. Why is that? You call a guy over there, but not the guy right here. So you call on someone that might do something or not. Hey, you don't know, take it easy. But you have next to you someone from the organized cartel who did it to you. Did it to you. So let's say you're a rape survivor. And you have one of the guys from the gang that conducted this awful act. But you call someone else, hey, you don't know what rape is, and you don't look at this guy, hey, wait a minute, your organization that you represent right now, you're in charge, never apologize to the rape. Never, but no, you're next to me and I'm calling that guy out. All right, I mean, it doesn't mean that if you survived something, you are the ultimate, the truth of the matter. Not at all. Not at all. So here in the West, we take it like this. Well, if I've been a victim of something, I have the authority to speak, nobody else, because I understand. Well, I understand you know certain experiences in that. But if I ask you about certain statistics or certain things related to the act, if you didn't read about it, you can't tell me shit. Unless you read about it. So I understand that part, but the rest, there are people over there who might know this much about your suffering, and you don't know anything about that one. But you know that little thing. But because you have that little thing, that means, you know, hey, I never drove a car. I don't know how to drive a car. I know what is to drive a car. Yes, I don't have the feel to drive a car. That's true. But you can understand certain things, can't you? I'm not going to give you more examples or not examples, analogies here. Let's see what else this lady has to say here. You can read this article on your own, and you're going to find out that there's no mention of any criminal or war crime or anything like that. So this person, nearly 8 decades after surviving the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Now, if the Russians would have done, or Soviets, would have been called here the war crime conducted by the Soviet army, I guarantee you that. 85-year-old Keiko Ogura had this message for Russian President Vladimir Putin. If she would have a message like to another guy, I would say okay. And I'm quoting, you don't know what is a nuclear weapon. Now this is wrong. I think he knows what a nuclear weapon is. And I probably know that he knows more than she does. But hey, this is assumptions. The reality of a nuclear weapon, I think he knows the reality because he reads. So come here and see. This is exactly like Zelensky asked people, hey, come to Kiev, let me show you this. Well, I don't have to come to Kiev to know and understand destruction. Do you think that if I'm going to come and see some ruins, it's going to, I'm going to have an epiphany here, enlightenment? Anyway, Ogura spoke to ABC News Brit Clannett ahead of the arrivals of President Joe Biden and other leaders in Hiroshima for the annual summit of G7. Alright, so it says this: Putin last year suggested he could use the weapons in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but subsequently denied he would. Well, I'm not gonna go over this. I made so many videos of this, and you know what he said about it. It's this guy Zelensky who said to NATO, hey, you should preemptively strike Russia. That's what he said. And Kadyrov said strike the Western Europe and all the other idiots who said strike London and all that. Putin, no, find that. He said, well, if we are attacked and our, how they call it, the existence, national existence is threatened, we're going to use anything we have. So threats by Russia of nuclear weapon use, let alone any use of nuclear weapons by Russia in the context of its aggression against Ukraine are inadmissible. Okay, Biden said. Okay, Ogura was 8 years old when the US dropped an atomic bomb on the city on August 6, 1945, but she says she can still vividly remember the events of the day. You see, just dropped a bomb, an atomic bomb, that's all you need to know. They dropped an atomic bomb. This is so neutral. It can't even, it's nothing sentimental here. Dropped an atomic bomb is like dropped a parcel, at the door, knocked at the door, the Amazon guy, and dropped, this for you, baby. First, there was a bright flash. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. What she tells us, here she is, right there. And then Ogura met with G7 leaders on Friday during their visit to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum, according to Japan's foreign ministry. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who's in the 20s at approval rating, by the way, gave the G7 leaders a private tour. Now, did Kishida told them, I don't care what he said because it is just, he just talked about atomic bombing and, they don't call the things as they are. The bombings of Hiroshima, not the war crime or, no, they don't call it. The bombings, the parcel dropped at the door of Hiroshima and Nagasaki prompted Japan's surrender, unconditional surrender, that was the whole thing, to the Allies instead of the Soviets, because they dealt with the Soviets, precipitating the end of the World War II. This is a justification right here. Alright? The bombing of Hiroshima, precipitating the end of prompted Japan. So, you see, that is justification. Well, I don't buy it. It doesn't mean that the Russians want to end the war in Ukraine. They should just bomb, Kiev and 2 more cities. Or maybe London or New York. Let's put it this way. Would that end the war? Well, just think about it. In Japanese, survivors of the bombings are known as habukusha. Okay, hibakusha. During her interview with ABC News, Ogura, the survivor, said this would be her message to Biden. Oh, right, let's see what message she's got. She would say, hey, you were... Okay, and I'm quoting. I say, you have the power, and we need a leader. Stockholm Syndrome right there. Underneath this land you're standing, there were so many dead souls, and so. Please feel and please imagine. Well, for me, this person lost all respect. Sorry. Why? Because that's not what she really wanted to say. I'm guessing if she says that she doesn't understand anything about the atomic bomb dropping, that she survived. The Hiroshima bombing killed an estimated 140,000 people, parentheses, civilians, children, hospitals. Everything that Russia is accused of right now in Ukraine, these guys did in 1 second. And I think more than that, because I don't think that the Russians killed 140,000 civilians. They're not accused of that. So, but hey, it's just a bombing. And by the way, the president and all those guys who made the decision are just, hailed as fantastic winners of the Second World War. Black rain, tra-la-la, lululu. Biden was the second sitting American president. So Biden was the second sitting American president to visit the memorial site. No U.S. president has apologized for the bombing. Well, I don't expect them to apologize. I'm expecting the deed to be called as it fits. So use the term that fits the act. That's what I want. I want the truth. The White House said that Biden didn't plan to do so either. Biden didn't make any public remarks during his visit to the memorial and museum. Great. But he's the leader that she wants. Ogura added, I know the fear, the reality when the nuclear weapon was used, and I can't stand this evil existing. The nuclear weapon, even a single weapon exists in the world, on this planet. We need to think about the future generation. Well, you are how old you are, and you don't understand that human nature is about aggression here. Just have the Americans say, okay guys, we give up all the weapons. What do you think will happen the next day? Nobody will do anything to the United States. Everybody will say, hey, thank you very much, good job. Or any other country. I'm not talking about Costa Rica, which doesn't have an army still, I think. But I'm talking about countries like this. So everybody, let's say, they don't have weapons. Do you think there will not be people that will make weapons the next day and start taking over everybody else? What are you talking about? And you're 90 or something, 80 some? This, again, in my assessment, I think that the right terms must be used to express the behavior. Otherwise, we will be misguided. It's like I want to tell you about, I don't know, someone raped someone else, and I'm going to say that, hey, someone performed an act. You don't know anything. Hey, someone touched someone. Could be touched nicely, could be touched by heart. What do you mean? I need details. Well, my someone raped someone. Okay, now I know exactly what's going on. Instead of saying, well, someone performed a intercourse. What do you mean? You need more details, and because you still have your mind, if you are a little bit above 86 IQ, it's ramified in more. What do you mean an act? What kind of act? You can think of many acts. Okay, someone touched someone. Pak. Okay, because you can think about 5 things. What kind of touching? Inappropriate touching, appropriate touching, symbolic touching, physical touching, you know what I mean? And then you say, oh no, someone had intercourse. Boom, intercourse. What do you mean? You can blend 2 things. Sex intercourse. Okay, what is it? Okay, then it's willing or unwilling. And then we start just using the term. The same here. The bombing, no, I don't think that expresses the whole story about those attacks. The dictionary tells us that. And remember, don't try to justify a rape. I think this is what's going on here. Well, because we had to do it, we shortened the war, we saved lives, so we had to bomb 2 cities full of civilians. Is that what justification is? So let's say someone would tell you, hey, Gigi, what if your female relatives that you have in your family, if they would be raped, then that war would end. Would you agree with that? I wouldn't. What do you mean? What does that have to do with that war over there? So yeah, if we drop 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities, the war ended. So yeah, that's good. I'm willing to take this chance. What do you mean? You're not at the receiving end. You don't sacrifice anything. And you sleep very well after that. So the same here. Don't justify me, oh, we saved this and we saved that. We had to do it. We brought them to the negotiation. It was no negotiation. It was actually all or nothing. And the Japanese says, oh, Jesus Christ, these are just good people. And they're gonna, because the Americans said, we will continue to bomb next Yokohama, Tokyo. They were not stopped. It was not the end of it. If the Japanese says, we're not gonna surrender, you criminals or something, they would have kept going. Is that extermination of a nation? And that's civilians, not military targets, civilian. So call it however you want. You know exactly how I would call that. And the definition fits the term. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.